All right, so our next panel, blockchain, smart contracts, and protocols in 2020. First, I'm just going to start off over here. Just introduce yourself, name, what you do.
Thank you. My name is Hector Hernandez. I'm co-founder, Chief Visionary Officer, and Chief Strategy Officer for dexFreight. We are building a decentralized logistics platform to allow shippers, carriers, brokers to collaborate and move goods efficiently, transparently, and securely, obviously using smart contracts and blockchain.
Hello, my name is Jason Brown, Head of Business Development with Komodo Platform. We are a multi-chain blockchain platform that also provides Bitcoin-level security to third-party chains, as well as an atomic swap platform that's accessible via Android and iOS.
Hi, my name is Navdeep, and I currently CEO of Revenue, and I am supporting a lot of projects like BitTorrent and all these things.
Hello, my name is Joshua Arma. I am the CEO of Program and Diversity. What we are focused on is bridging the gap in the new age workforce through the blockchain space with e-learning and also underserved communities by bringing a more inclusive environment for everyone to learn and become a problem solver regardless if they know how to code.
Hi, I'm Adrian Hirsch. I'm from dRoute, and we operate a high-speed global network for all blockchain use cases.
All right, guys, so your first question, let's imagine a little bit, right? So a year from now, how will our blockchain ecosystem change?
So I think all of these prototypes we see out there today in supply chain, fintech, and all of those will be hopefully being brought to market. And so the protocols, I think a lot of these projects are private blockchains that will be the first ones that get customers. So it's going to be a lot of proof of stake, BPFT. So that's what I see happening first next year.
What I see is like the age of microprocessors where like back, maybe in the 90s, processors were huge and clunky. And right now, your iPhone could be more powerful than your laptop. So I feel like in a year, as we get more computing power in the space, we'll be able to simplify the value and speed the market of prototypes, projects, and decentralization.
On my thinking, now the micropayment is the future of micropayments is the future of blockchain. The ecosystem is micropayments related to the technologies, because right now if we see the Bitcoin and all these things, we are not doing the micropayments. We can do the only transaction for big transactions. Micropayments we can pay small bills. We can use blockchain as micropayments, and we can perform that things as well.
So where I see the future of blockchain here coming up in 2020 is that we're going to start seeing a shift away from currency type coins and open platforms, and to a shift towards a lot of private development chains. Just speaking personally, just from the inquiries that I've had with Komodo, a lot of people are looking to use blockchain in their business, but don't necessarily want it as some openly traded thing or even as a monetary object at all. So we've already seen around 50 chains on our platform come about just in the past 2 years, and we think that's going to grow exponentially. So that's where I see blockchain heading in 2020.
Yeah, I agree with some of these comments. I think you're going to see flourishing decentralized economy. So a lot of products and protocols are getting mature now, are going to hit the market. There's a lot of interesting projects that nobody knows about yet. This is about to happen. So not only in the business-to-consumer environment, but also in the business-to-business environment. So the DeFi portion of it, protocols like Centrifuge, MakerDAO, all of this more mainstream and actual usage of the products and the currencies instead of speculating, more live use cases.
All right, so billions of dollars have been dumped into funding for research for protocol. Why is that important?
Well, we're building a new economy based on decentralization. So if you think about it for a second, years ago when the protocols came along, the value wasn't captured by them, right? You have HTTP and all these other protocols. That's not where the value was made. The value was captured at the app layer, right? On marketplaces, you see Google, you see Amazon. This decentralized economy is different. So what you're seeing now is the very first phase for it, where all of these pieces that are needed to get to a point where we have a decentralized environment become real. So, but in this new economy, these protocols are going to capture a lot of value. So that's what I think is you're seeing this investment going there. It's just the critical building blocks on top which companies like dexFreight is building on. So it's very necessary, but it's going to capture a lot of value.
So with the recent investment and development of protocols, I believe this is because how the traditional problems that we had in the software world and such with lack of compatibility between different systems, that we have a chance now with blockchain technology to really start from scratch. Even though Bitcoin's been around 10 years, the entirety of the blockchain ecosystem is much younger. So to have uniform protocols to be used between different chains that allow them to be interoperable with each other, it seems that is one of the major reasons why there's such interest in developing new types of protocols and new types of standards that people will create their chains with.
Okay, on my thinking, if we say that the major investment going on the Bitcoin blockchain technologies, we can participate with a lot of investments to analyze our profitability, and big data is involving on that things to create the huge investment to create volumes for. You can say that the volume of market is going on that side.
So what I see this representing is more of a shift in the way we look at Industrial 4.0. I feel like that blockchain just represents a small segment of the value of the next wave of technology, and our tech stacks are fundamentally changing. So enterprises in the Midwest, Southeast, and other places like Miami are receiving funding because of like the supply chain dynamics with the Port of Miami and other places like that. So when you have enterprise adoption, you're gonna have VC money that follows it. And I'm currently a GP at a venture fund right now, and one of the models that we've been looking at is how to, support our follow-on investments in early stage companies that we already have previously funded or that we're gonna do a first round with. And then doing follow-on investment, a lot of this is super early, so none of it's gonna be, revenue generating or profitable right now. So I really see the value of Industrial 4.0 and the tech stack changing and us adopting a more cyber physical system versus one silo of just, hey, we're doing blockchain. It's more, here's everything in the end. You talk to your device and it gives you insights back, right? Same if I'm instead of an ERP system, I'll have a whole tech stack and then it'll deliver in the end what I need.
Yeah, so I see the billions of dollars pushed into the market important, especially to bring the protocols that were developed now to get them to market, to get customers to use them, to make them user-friendly, and to get adoption. Because I think it's going to take a year, hopefully, but probably longer. So that's why the importance of that big fundings is.
So next question, how are atomic swaps changing and impacting this industry?
So atomic swaps are going to be a great revolution in the cryptocurrency industry, even more than what we've already come to witness with Bitcoin and blockchains. So what atomic swaps are is basically allows two people to trade with each other with no third party in between, being totally secured by code. There is no KYC, no AML, no third party holding your coins. You always retain your keys. There's no artificial bans like sanctions or different types of impedances that people might have with trading with either in their own country or with other countries. So I believe that this will allow people to access cryptocurrency in a much easier way than they have been currently, which traditionally now either you have to mine it or you have to go to some centralized exchange, give up all your information, only be able to put a certain amount in, maybe not the full amount you want to invest, in purchase slowly over time. And that's very cumbersome for, pretty much everybody. So atomic swaps will allow people to circumvent this in a way that is, a lot safer than trusting your coins with a third party. As we've seen in the past couple of years, the frequency of hacks on major exchanges and the consequent fallout, such as socialized losses, people are pretty fed up with that, and so they're looking for a new type of system to use to be able to exchange freely and privately.
Does anyone want to follow up with that?
I totally agree with that. I think the ability to exchange one asset for another one without the dependency of a centralized exchange is critical, especially if you think about all these other projects that are using their own native tokens. So in the short term, people exchanging it, but in the long term, you have machines that are working in different environments that probably use tokens to pay for certain goods or services. And for them to interact with other network of other machines, probably, they're gonna need to exchange these cryptocurrencies or these tokens. So atomic swap, I think, is a amazing technology. I can't wait to see it mainstream.
I think the atomic swap is good enough, but we need another version of atomic swap. Right now, if we see the atomic swap is a little bit slower side, because when we do one asset transfer to another asset transfer, it will take time. Everyone want how much time to execute the trade. This time people are not want to see the trade will be executed on after 10 minutes or 20 minutes. That's atomic swap need another version.
The one thing I want to touch on this is that we live in a human-centered design world. So a lot of the things with atomic swaps is really about helping the unbanked become bankable. So if you look at like 3 billion people that don't have bank accounts, cryptocurrency is not going to solve poverty, but it will give them access to assets. And before the International Monetary Fund, there was a bartering system. And when you had a bartering system, you would give your asset for another asset. So I feel like atomic swaps represent a new age where in the digital environment, you have a lot of people in third world countries that don't even know how to use an iPhone or an Android. But if we can simplify technology so it's accessible, we can give more people access to basic level services. And this will give people and enable people to have microeconomies in different places like in the Middle East, Africa, so on and so forth. So atomic swaps is just a utility to service the unbanked, in my opinion, with people that need access.
Yeah, though the atomic swaps, they also probably a hope they will generate like a global marketplace and allow every party to trade without needing too many to get everybody on the same level and allowing everybody to take part in one marketplace.
All right, so next question, guys. Oh, did you have something you want to add? Go for it.
I just wanted to add one last thing to the point of atomic swaps, that this isn't some future technology that is, we're waiting for it to be developed. I'm actually doing one right now while we speak. So,
Woo, go guy.
Yeah, that it's here today. This isn't something that's just for tech nerds and stuff. I even have my grandma do an atomic swap through our mobile application. So this is available for anyone in the world, even with people who have very limited tech understanding, that they can just hit a couple buttons and be able to swap with anybody they choose.
All right, so how are businesses that you may know or that you may own are paving ways for smart contracts?
So we as a fundamental layer for data, we try to communicate with everybody and to figure out how they need speed in data transactions to prepare them and to optimize especially the speed and the confirmation times of transactions, to get the confirmation as fast as possible to make it as user-friendly as possible for the end customer and to increase the trust within that process.
So there's two things that I've noticed. One is the gig economy. So in blockchain and in multiple industries, there's bounty programs where people can earn bounties based on the work they do. And smart contracts has facilitate value transfer. I do this work, I get paid. I don't have to talk to anyone. So that's a huge thing. Another one is obviously real estate or anything that's a physical asset, where it acts as an escrow to supply a fundamental, holding period so that certain rules have to be met before the money is allocated to the buyer and seller. So I believe between escrow services and also between, the gig economy, these are very simple ways to apply it without spending $1 million on the use case.
My thinking, smart contract will need more improvement. Right now, the smart contract is same type of if we create the token, that is the standard contracts. Everyone can create the contracts within few minutes. But if the fraud is involved right now, if we work on other protocols in smart contracts like 115 protocol, that is the protocols to change our smart contract to we can protect our frauds as well. That's my thinking is to, if we come with the new protocols as well, not for ERC20, we are coming with the other protocols that will be much greater.
So the use of smart contracts here in the future, I think we're going to see a shift away from interpreted smart contracts. That would be something like you're familiar with on Ethereum. It has to be converted to bytecode and then eventually into the binary and to actually work. Where I think it's going to move into a way that we are going to have more like smart blockchains, where it's not just a specific program on a blockchain, but the blockchain itself actually acts as a full program, I guess, is, if you will, in and of itself. So the benefits of this would be that you don't have to compete for space on in a block, and also to isolate. Say you're a private business, you don't want to build an interpreted contract on a public blockchain. You want your own private system set up, and I believe that's the future of it. And in use cases, one of the speakers here mentioned the gig economy. I think that's going to be a really big one, especially traditional contracts being done through some sort of tokenization mechanism. But the possibilities are really limitless. It's only limited by your imagination.
Yeah, so anywhere you have two parties that don't trust each other and they need to get into agreement, and then those conditions are fulfilled, a value needs to be transferred between one and the other, and this can be done on chain. This is where the smart contract definition, at least in our case in supply chain, this is the norm. You are interacting with multiple parties, nobody trusts each other, and in our platform, what we're doing for supply chain is allowing these two parties to find each other and agree on the terms, and then these agreements self-execute and then transfer the value at the end. So supply chain for us, I think, is one of the main use cases because it's already very fragmented and decentralized, and with a lot of barriers in language, on different currencies, different locations geographically, and we've been working at it for 2 years now, and there's other projects here too, very interesting, working on that use case. That's the one that I know the most about, but I totally agree with all these other use cases.